Get in! We're going to the Nether! As Beef enters the Nether, she is disappointed to find herself in a basalt delta. She attempts to forge a safe path, removing the threat of lava as she goes. She is quickly faced with her first opponent, the magma cube. This won't be the last time she must face them. As she gets to the landmass in the distance, she is not pleased with the sight of more basalt delta, so she decides to cut her losses and head an alternative direction. At the other end of her tunnel, she finds herself in another waste. Seeing a long stretch of land in the distance, she digs a path up towards it. As she heads out into the wasteland, she hears an eerie sound overhead. Unsure of where it is coming from, she looks around frantically. At last, she spots the nearby ghast. She runs towards coverage, lines up her shot, and makes contact. Crisis averted. She continues her journey, creating bridges along the way to help traverse the dangerous landscape. She spots a crimson forest in the distance and tunnels her way towards it. Aware that hoglins are native to this biome, she keeps to the fringes of the forest to harvest the trees. It is not long before she finds a hoglin in her path, but she quickly removes the threat and proceeds. As she re-enters the Nether wasteland, she spots blue flames and knows she must head in that direction if she wants to find new terrain and resources. As she enters the Soul Sand Valley, she catches a glimpse of a fortress and continues towards it in hopes of finding the ingredients needed to brew potions. Impatient and arguably too trusting of her ankles, she decides to hop off her platform to head towards the fortress. She will most definitely feel that one in the morning. In an attempt to find a safe way into the fortress, she opts to dig a tunnel around back, marking its location with the torch so she can find her way out later. She proceeds cautiously into the fortress, creating archways as she goes to ensure she can get away from any wither skeletons that may charge towards her. Beef uses her bow to address the threat that is the blaze. With every fallen blaze, her inventory fills with the blaze rods needed for brewing. The only ingredient that remains is nether wart. Beef finds herself wandering in circles as she searches for the valuable nether wart. She crosses the same path time and time again, taking out various threats in the process. As she searches, she stumbles across a warped forest in the distance and decides a change of scenery may be nice for the time being. She enters the forest to harvest new resources, unaware of the extra set of eyes watching her every move. Luckily for Beef, the Enderman quickly loses interest and heads elsewhere. At last, Beef finally finds a new structure she hadn't yet explored in the fortress. After making sure there were no enemies nearby that may take her by surprise, she happily collects the nether wart at the base of the stairs and begins her journey back home. As she sports her previous bridges overhead, she has peace of mind knowing she is heading in the right direction. The markers she left earlier in her journey also come in handy as she retraces her steps, though it isn't long before she gets lost again. As she searches for the markers she knows she left, she is unaware that the path she seeks is right behind her. Unable to find the tunnels she made previously, she opts to make a new one towards the direction she came from. At last, she digs her way back to her portal and heads through, back towards the safety of her home. All of that exploration took place on a live stream, and if you'd like to tune in next time I'm live, you can follow me at twitch.tv/madsbeef, and I'm also going to link my Twitch account down in the description below. But right now I'm going live about 3 times a week at this point in time. Now, I do want to talk about what my goal is build-wise today. So with this episode being focused on the Nether, I would like to have a decent structure on both the Nether side and the Overworld side for the Nether portal so that I can walk out and be safe either way if I'm going to or from the Nether. Now, I try my best to design builds that both fit the purpose of what's within while still fitting within the context of the surrounding area, and after some brainstorming creative sessions on Twitch, I've decided that the build is going to represent almost like a train station travel center within the context of the village. Now, designing and creative means I've got a long list of materials to gather, and instead of just showing you a montage of me gathering materials that you've probably seen dozens of others gather in the past, I thought we could make a little game out of it. Hello, and welcome to the first ever installment of the Stack Market. This game will take a little bit of skill and a little bit of luck. That being said, those who joined the live stream may have somewhat of an advantage. Now, I'm going to show you 4 different time lapses, and I want you to guess which item required the highest quantity of stacks in regards to the upcoming build. First, let's take a look at option A, tough brick slabs. Next, let's take a look at option B, stripped crimson logs. Third, we'll take a look at option C, stripped oak logs. And last, and potentially the least, is option D, acacia buttons. Comment down below what you think I needed the most stacks of for today's build. If you guess correctly, you win bragging rights and an ego boost. A quiz is available on my channel where you can lock in your guess and find out the correct answer. Thanks for playing the Stack Market. We'll see you next time. I had a lot of fun making that, and I hope you enjoyed it too. But if you have any recommendations on how to make the game better or more fun, I would love to hear your feedback on it in the comments below. That being said, we now have all the materials we need, so let's get into the build for this episode. So the build itself is done, and there's a couple of other things that I have done since what you've seen in the time lapse, and we'll get to those shortly, and there's other things that I need to do now. So we're going to talk through those, but I figured it would make the most sense to explain the build from my point of view rather than explaining it in the time lapse like I typically do. So I wanted to go ahead and give this view from a distance. We've got a lot of stripped oak going on, but this time I decided to take a step away from like the cobblestone and stone, and we are incorporating tuff in this build instead. So we've got a tough brick roof, and then this one also we're incorporating some acacia. So I really like how the acacia ties in with the copper, especially when this one isn't so oxidized. I actually need to go in and fix that so that it's waxed and stops aging. But I like how the acacia ties in with the rest of the materials that we've been using nearby. And we got some landscaping I just put in out here. And we're gonna go ahead and go inside, but I think I'm actually gonna take you up to the second floor first. So up here, we've got some storage for just like overflow nether storage, because I have a double chest in my storage unit in there, but it's not really enough to start holding all these items when I start to get them in bulk. So we've got all of these, and up here, aside from that, we've just got some workstations. We've got plenty of item frames that need to be filled in, which I actually want to do that here shortly, but there's something else I got to do first. So I do want to get these filled out with maps of the surrounding area, but I would need maps to do that, and I can make my own. But down here, like I said, it's a large interior that I needed to fill out, and I was trying to think, with it being a travel center / train station, what can I put in here that's going to make the most sense? So I figured, why not incorporate in some cartographers? So we need to go ahead and move some in, and then that way I can get maps. I can buy maps from them to start putting in these item frames. But I figured it would feel like this is the help desk. We've got a cartographer here. We'll have like maps on display, almost as if they're for sale. And then we've got 4 other trading stalls over here, because I feel like 5 cartographers is probably more than enough. I don't really use cartographers that often anyways, but I figured we could go ahead and move them in right now. With those guys in place, I want to show you what we've got going on out here. So we have this space right here, this the platform to get to the railway, which I just put this in, and I'm not ready to continue the rail line just yet, but I worked on this bridge on stream yesterday, and I want this to transport to the next project. So next episode, we've got a project we're going to be working on down at the end of this bridge. So I went ahead and felt like I would connect it for this episode, because then it gives this more of a purpose, makes a little bit more sense. And then I got the minecart dispenser and like system put in, but we aren't going very far with it yet. So I think we do that, and then it should take us on our way, and then we will eventually have it pop us out at the end over there at our next project. So let me go ahead and put this in. I think if I just do that, yeah, so that takes it, the cactus takes the cart, puts it in the hopper, puts it back in the dispenser so that we can easily dispense carts. Don't really know what to do with this block because it's supposed to be like covering this redstone dust. Maybe I'll try like a iron trapdoor or something. I don't know, but it's kind of like that's a tripping hazard. So I gotta brainstorm what else I can do with that, but it seems like this is probably just gonna have to be the way it is. So now that we have the villagers in place, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of those maps like I was talking about. So I did actually put some in here from earlier when I was purchasing from these guys, but if we go upstairs, I've got 15 slots to put maps on, and then I want to add some. I'll probably do one there. Honestly, might as well just do this for now. We'll do one here. We'll do one down here, and I think maybe we can put like a compass in the other. I don't know why I'm rotating this when it was literally already in the right space to begin with. I think that's right. Okay, so we need 15 maps. Let's buy a couple. Let's see how many this guy will give me. And this will be good because I can start upgrading them too. Okay, so we got a decent amount from that guy. And then we'll go to you and we'll buy these other 3. And let's see what we've got going on. So now I can get an Ocean Explorer map, and I think once I get those, I'm going to put them in here, and I may just use the unfinished map. But this, like, with this in hand, I want to see where this puts us. Because I don't know. Oh, this looks so fun. I don't know how much of this I want, like where I want the center to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and line up at least a couple. I like how the carpets pick up on the map too. This looks so good. Oh wow, this is amazing. I love doing maps because it always looks so different than you'd think it'd be. So I think let's figure out where this is, because if this is within the same bounding box as spawn, then we might as well just put them together. It looks like it may actually be right at the edge. Yeah, so right over here is going to be spawn. So one of these is going to be center, and we're going to go off from that. So I'm right outside of spawn now. What does this give me? Okay, we're here. So I just need to go fill in this a little bit. So let's fill in these maps, and then we will put them on the map wall. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Cool. So after I got those ones put in, I went ahead and did the same down here, but I actually locked these and put a date on them. So we've got those in place, and then I'm going to go ahead and craft a compass and put it here. And I think I want to try to buy one of these Ocean Explorer maps and see how that looks, because I do feel like these walls are quite plain. They need a little bit more color, maybe more paintings, but honestly, I feel like more maps would be more fun. So I may try to find some ways to add a little bit more decoration to the walls and just bring more color in. But we're gonna start with compasses and other maps and go from there. So I've got my compasses, but I'm gonna buy an Ocean Explorer map first, because my main thing is I want to see how that looks in an item frame. If it's going to actually, okay, so it doesn't even look like much right here, but I think, so if I put it in, it looks like that. Okay, look at my little guy right here. Okay, interesting. We're gonna take that out. I think for now, I'm just going to leave this up here. And we'll go ahead and put the compass in. I've actually done a couple of buried treasure maps, and I always just leave the map in the chest when I'm done with it because I never know what to do with them. And I kind of want to go find a couple of those and see if I can find them. And if so, I'm going to put them on the wall. And I may actually just try to look for some shipwrecks while I'm at it. So let's go do that real quick. I must have missed this the last time I came this way, because I think I would remember. But this is a crazy generation. It's like, I think it's an acacia biome. That's pretty cool. I like it. It's nice to see your recent efforts of releasing the Iron Golem being put to good use. Seeing him fling around these pillagers. Oh, I spoke too soon. Well, he did at least part of his job. I just swam down to this chest out of the blue, decided to check and see what was in here. Didn't realize they put buried treasure maps in these things. But I found one, and I think it's probably for the one that I've already got in this area, but I don't care. I want the map. I don't care about the treasure, just the map. So I ended up finding 3 buried treasure maps. Now, 2 of these are for the same location, so I'm just gonna leave one up here. But I'm gonna go ahead and put these other ones on the wall. And I also ended up filling out the Ocean Explorer map that I bought. It's not super exciting, it's just all ocean. But for now, I feel like I'm just gonna go ahead and leave these on the wall. And they do look a little odd, I will say. But I think as I accumulate more, it may fill out better. But for now, we're just gonna leave these over here, and then I think we can slowly start expanding this way as we get more. And the good thing is it gives me incentive to keep my maps and put them somewhere, rather than just like leaving them in a chest. And also it gives me an incentive to stop at shipwrecks whenever I see them, buy the maps and use the maps, because I know that they will have trial chamber maps eventually once I'm ready to take one of those on. And yeah, it'll give me a place to put the map when I'm done with it. So I think it'll be a good thing to just kind of fill out as we go, buy more, keep more, use more, and it'll add some color and we'll just slowly start migrating them this way. So there's really only one last thing that I need to show you, and you may be wondering, where's the nether side of this whole build? And that's what I'm going to show you now. So I want to preface, I didn't want to show this much in the time lapse because the idea I was going for was like parallel universe, alternate universe, the upside down from Stranger Things, something like that. And I wanted to use the same design, but use all nether material. And so it's very similar, and it didn't feel like it needed its own time lapse. Also because it's a little smaller, and it's a little harder to film in the nether. So we'll go ahead and show you. I will say, nether wood is hard to make like work together because I kept thinking this is just too much, like it's given Polly Pocket, and I wasn't feeling it, so I decided to come in and like embrace more of the upside down feel from Stranger Things, and I started throwing in the vines and the roots and starting to pull in some skulk veins and messy it up a bit. I think it really needed that because when it was just clean, it was way too colorful, and I did not like that. But so yeah, this is like the alternate dimension version of the build. We've got all of the crimson wood, all of the warped wood, and then instead of villagers, we have piglins, and they all have names so they won't despawn. We picked names in stream. But yeah, this is the nether side, and you'll notice it's a little bit smaller. On this side, we don't have the like shopping area, but we do have just like a picture wall because I felt like I needed to bring in more color to combat all of the pink and teal. But so I threw that in, but the idea is eventually whenever I'm ready to start making a bigger nether hub, I will branch out this way and connect it into other areas. This is going to be like a port, for lack of a better word, kind of like a stop on the train station, and it'll connect all back into a bigger nether hub with my final base when I start working on that, because I've mentioned it before, but I'll say it again. This base that I'm living in right now is just meant to be the starter base. It's meant to be my spawn base, but my final base is going to be in a completely different location with a different style, and I think that'll show through on both the overworld side and the nether side. But there are some differences as well. So yeah, we don't have the customer service, the service desk in this one. And instead of going upstairs, this one actually goes downstairs all the way to where you can mine for netherite. So I think this is 15. Yeah, we go down to 15. I have a mini lava farm, some furnaces, some storage chests. I already tried doing a little netherite farming and did not get super far with it. I got a single ancient debris, but it's nice to at least have quick access to it and safe access where I don't have to traverse through the nether and worry about running into a ton of people that don't want me alive. Now, I'm gonna go back up. Sometimes magmas like to spawn in here. That's the one downside, but I will take magma cubes over hoglins any day. Now, I'm gonna walk out here real quick. And yeah, there's the magma cubes. So you can see we got a little bit of a custom biome going on out here. I don't actually want to hang out here with the magma cubes because they're just gonna cause problems. But I'm gonna pull out in Freecam. I like the whole, like, it looks like a random build dropped in from a different universe with different colors. I like that it stands out. You can see a little bit of the canopy coming through from the other build, but it's basically similar build, just the different nether materials instead. I did use some wool instead. Like there were a couple of times, like for example the pots, I had to use the same as well because there wasn't another version of it, but for the most part I tried to have the alternative version of everything as best as I could, even like the lamps. But yeah, I think this is a good start for the nether base, like nether hub. I can come in and trade with them pretty easily. There is honey under them like there is in the overworld as well, so that does become a little problematic when I'm trying to get the drops that they give when you trade with them, but we just kind of we make do with what we got. And one thing I didn't consider, I can't open this ender chest without them freaking out. And I also can't wear anything, I can't forget my gold items without them freaking out either. So I have come through here and tried to get them to use their crossbows on me so that they will break and they won't have them anymore. And I did that for quite a while, not a single crossbow break, and I actually lost one guy in the process. So I'm hoping over time that the crossbows will break and that won't be a problem anymore, but I just gotta make sure to be careful and only use the ender chest when I really need it. Maybe I'll move it where they can't see me, and always remember my gold. But they don't hit that hard. I just gotta remember to take off my thorns chest plate because I'm not trying to harm them in the process. But yeah, this is the nether side. I'll take another little once over. But yeah, it's parallel universe, very similar design, just different materials and a different vibe altogether. That is going to do it for today's episode. If you stuck around to the end, thank you so much. You are literally the best. I've got to be careful with my camera not to turn it too far over because we have started the next project in the live streams. If you want to join in, come hang out and chat. It is twitch.tv/madsbeef. We would love to have you there. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and turn this way so there aren't any spoilers. But this was a big project. It ended up taking me a little bit longer than I had expected, but overall I'm pretty happy with the outcome. And if you liked it, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like on the video. Do not forget to comment what you think I needed the most in the stack market, what block I needed the most of. And if you wanted to go ahead and subscribe, we've got some more fun stuff coming next week. So I would love to have you here, and feel free to join the Discord. And I hope you have a great rest of your morning, day, or night, whatever it is for you. Thanks. Bye-bye.